got so far in it last time, and I thought I didn't want to add colour onto it this time. So first things first, I'm going to kind of colour in some of the background, and I've got a bit of a range of pens because I'm not sure which ones work and which ones don't. So we'll probably work our way through a number of black velvet pens before the end of this little segment. Colour it in black because the idea that I suppose it's kind of floating in the void. It's a bit of a brain teaser puzzle, this map. This maze even, not a map. This Doodle Maze. I quite like the idea of a Doodle Maze. I think this is something I'm going to do again. Or kind of keep these like more complicated, less, it's not really of anything, it's just kind of patterns and doodles. I think that can often be very, very relaxing to watch. I find them relaxing to watch anyway. But I've just kind of been freewheeling with what I decide to draw for these videos. Obviously I've taken a couple of suggestions from you guys so far, but other than that I've just been kind of drawing what feels right on the day. Here we go, like pen number 2. I've got these pens. Oh, there's a hair there. I got these pens about 5 years ago from a friend, and I've just been kind of using them off and on in that time. But this year, in 2023, we've got to a point now where they're basically all running out. That said, this one is very good. Well, it's doing the trick so far. It's a little bit scruffy, but it's okay. As long as it remains kind of solidly black, then it's okay. I kind of, with the idea that this is like a big brain teaser, I got really involved with that when I was making the thumbnail to the last video. It included the Tim and Eric meme screenshot where he's doing the mind blown thing, like it's just a bit daft, but I thought it was kind of silly and funny. Hopefully you got the idea what it was about from that. Enter the Doodle Maze. Hopefully no one clicked on it thinking it was some kind of, hypnotism. Hypnotism video. I mean, in a way, I guess ASMR is that. It's kind of hypnotizing you to sleep, or like, oh gosh, the dogs, I'm so sorry. If you can hear those barking. Anyway, I guess ASMR does kind of hypnotize you to sleep, or at least get you in that kind of sedated state to fall asleep, like sometimes hypnotism does. We had when I was at school, we had a bit of a phase of everybody getting into hypnotism and hypnotizing each other and pretending to hypnotize people. And probably for a period of time, if you went to a party or a sleepover or something, someone was getting hypnotized. I was only interested in that as far as I would often volunteer to be hypnotized. thought, like, in a hospital or a dorm or a university or something, there's probably a wheelie chair in every single room, at least, so we initially thought wheels, but then someone googled it, and there are something like 36 billion wheels in the world, and about 42 billion doors, which surprised me. But I'm also curious as to what constitutes a door. See, I wouldn't count a kind of opening as a door. For me, a door is literally the thing hanging in the opening that you open or close, not just kind of a cave or an opening in a rock or a building or something. But then, thinking about it more, it did make a fair bit of sense, because the kitchen cabinet doors, filing cabinet doors, bathroom cabinet doors, there's a hell of a lot of doors that you wouldn't even initially consider, so I guess it made sense, but then I'm still slightly unconvinced, despite the facts. No, I shouldn't be, I'll believe the facts, but if they're counting just openings as doors, then I'm not impressed. I've rambled on about this for far too long. I'll keep you updated with what next week's question is on the board. Nearly finished this bit of tree roots. Or the background to it anyway, there we go. Now I'm going to move on to over here. And I need something to help me not smudge. There we go. Okay. I'm not sure quite how close I'm going to get to my kind of electronic chipboard looking stuff. A bit close, but not too close. I don't want to take away from it. I still want it to, look like these little dots here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to neaten that up with a different pen. Well, that was a little bit loud, apologies. Oh, these pen lids. Pen lids are not very ASMR conducive. Oh, this pen's nearly run out. Might be time for the bin for this one. Okay. Bit's looking kind of cool. I might fill in just a couple of these sections. Let's get back to this pen. This makes life a little bit better. Okay, around the arrow, that's a good idea. Got to at least make the entrance to the maze stand out. There we go. And then a few little areas within the kind of electronic section. I just got an incredibly loud notification on my laptop, so apologies. Well, I'll edit it out, but it really made me jump then, because recording this, I kind of, as you are probably right now, get into a bit of a state of calm, and a big, like, bloopy noise when you get a notification. see which pen was the good one, which brush pen was the good one for this area. Okay. Very, very smooth, these pens, very smooth indeed. Okay. I think soon I'm going to do another sketchbook tour video with a few of my older sketchbooks, because the one I did recently is my most recent and up-to-date sketchbook. But I think I'm going to go into the kind of annals of time and get some stuff from maybe when I was a teenager and a young adult, as it were, and you can kind of get an idea of maybe how my art has progressed over time, if you're interested in such a thing. I say this because that video in particular has gotten reasonably popular. I think it's my second most viewed video. And I found it really enjoyable just to kind of talk about the work I've done. It was a nice little change, so I think I'll definitely do it again. But yeah, it's interesting for me to see how my style has progressed over time. You know, there's a lot of, I look at some drawings from the past and just basically think they're absolutely rubbish. And it's incredibly clear how much my style has evolved and changed over time. It's interesting, really. If I'm ever some kind of famous artist and they do a retrospective on me, very unlikely, but hopefully that will be clear, that I've not just kind of stagnated in one style forever. So that wouldn't be fun. I do generally feel the need to kind of push my art in different directions and different styles and stuff, but also trying to do it within my style. So, you know, I know generally what style I like. I know I like to draw, but within the bounds of that, and kind of pushing the bounds of that without leaving the style. Oops, drop the pen. That's a kind of interesting concept and something I like to explore. Anyway, it's now time to colour in. Now be warned, I haven't used coloured pencils for years and years and years. So my skills with them might not be up to par. They're all quite blunt as well. Try and put these down as carefully as possible. Not going very well. There we go. The light blue one is missing, and that is because I draw a lot of comics, and the light blue, I've probably talked about this before, is very good for outlining comics, doing the initial outlines, because it doesn't show up on the scanner when you scan in, like a pencil would. It's also easier to rub out. But I didn't know this for ages. A lot of people I like and look up to have these kind of light blue outlines in their drawings, and it basically just took me trying it out to realise this. But it also means that all my blue crayons have just disappeared because I've been using them abundantly for comics and then losing them, or they just kind of run out. They go blunt or what have you. I'm not going to apply too much pressure for this. I'm not going to colour it in too intensely, and hopefully the as an overall image, this should, I think, work really nicely and not detract too much from the pen work and the black filling in. But yeah, I'm not gonna be too precious about it. It's been an awful long time, so I'm not gonna put too much pressure on myself. As you shouldn't with art. When you're making art, noises there, so I might just be quiet and let those pick up for a minute. Okay, I think orange next. Struggling to keep this straight. Drawing on the edge of the page is also a constant danger and slight annoyance. I don't think I'm doing too badly considering I haven't drawn with crayons for so long. Quite pleased. Okay. I'm thinking I'm going to do this orange and brown and then have it kind of finish in a brown right at the back. But this one can be halfway between the two. So I'll get that brown back. Just go over it lightly. That's also a way of keeping red out of it so we can save the red for the circuit board stuff above. Maybe a little bit of shading. Okay, I won't go do much more crazy than that. Okay, I think these roots need to be green and brown. Maybe be a bit more gung-ho with them and not, be too precious about it. Maybe some of the foreground ones I can be a bit more precious about, but generally in the background they can just be drawn over, scribbled over without too much thought put into it. Realised that I missed a little area here too. There we go. Oh, there we go, that was a bit rubbish. Okay. Which one's, okay, that's a big one there. Okay. Just these ones over here can just be green. I guess tree roots aren't generally very green because they're below ground. They don't get the sunlight like the rest of the plant does. So it's probably slightly inaccurate that I'm drawing them green. Just using my finger there to try and stop it going too far over the edge of the paper. Just because it's a bit annoying really. You can get bits drawn slightly quicker. Okay, do this corner down here. Excuse the click there. This over here, I'm feeling like a dark blue. It's a colour I haven't used yet. These pencils have actually done a really good job not breaking. I'm quite impressed. Usually they kind of just snap off as soon as you put them to paper. Getting in my way now. I've got a bit of a mess on the table here. I will go over and highlight a few of these. I won't just be lazy and have it all purple. It's a little bit scruffy, that bit, but maybe we can add some darker bits in with what I hope is a kind of darker bluer pen. Maybe as it gets, here we go, this is a bit more blue. There are a few bits that are further away from the maze itself. Just like outlines. It's slightly more of a 3D feel. Hopefully. It's kind of looking like something I might have coloured in when I was a lot younger. But that's quite nice. Nothing like getting in touch with your inner child when you're drawing and stuff. That's what it's all about, I suppose. In a way. I'm rambling now, sorry. This isn't, the philosophy of art or anything, but I guess a lot of it is my own personal philosophy of art, which I'm allowed to talk about because it's my channel, and I can talk about what I like. Okay, after some reflection, I think the blue is going on the circuit board here. I might even it out quite nicely. Okay. There we go. Right. Where else? A few random spots in the middle. Yeah, I definitely like this blue and the red. It's a pretty cool vibe. Maybe one more colour in a minute. Well, I'll do it now. Which colour? Maybe a bit of orange. Just a little bit though. I'll probably leave. I think I have got a black pencil. I'll create some grey. I think grey would go quite nicely on it. Yeah. I'm gonna do some. Oh, sorry. Bit of a shocker there. I do apologise. There we go, this is what I'm after. Nice. Oh no, see this is what happens. You make it too sharp and then it breaks, unfortunately. maze itself, I'm not sure, I'm feeling maybe like just a red background. Oh no, which one's darker? That one's darker. Just a red outline, which kind of matches the red eye that I've put in the middle. So just mainly keep it white, but also kind of shaded. You can see where my hand smudged it on the right hand side here. I'll try and avoid that. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of cool. I'm glad I've left this white. Maybe like a kind of yellow glow coming from the middle to guide your way through the maze. I think I'm finished. Hopefully you can see all of that. Thank you for joining me on the second part of this weird journey into the Doodle Maze. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you found some solace and relaxation within the maze, as I did. As someone